Welcome back, DIYers. Do you have a toilet that won't flush? Does it leak where the tank meets the bowl? Does it leak where the water supply line meets the tank? Or are all the internal parts of the tank just corroded up? Well, that's the reason for today's video. I have a couple of those problems with my toilet. So come along, let me show you just how easy it is to fix any one or all these problems by just simply replacing all the internal parts of the toilet tank. Oh, and let me know down below if you've had this problem with your toilet. Did you fix it yourself? Did you hire a plumber? Or did you just go out and buy a new toilet? Let me know down below. So with that, let's get started and get this problem fixed. So the issues I'm having with my toilet are: one, it doesn't want to flush, and two, where the supply line meets the tank, it's leaking. And the internal parts are all corroded up. So the first thing we need to do is turn the water off to the toilet. Now, some of you may have a valve at the wall of your toilet, which makes it easy. You just turn that and shut your water off. But in my case, I have PEX in this house, and they were too lazy to put me a valve here. So I have to go out to the garage, to the manifold, and turn the water off from there. So let me go do that, and I'll come back, and we'll get started with the next part. Okay, we got that all done. Next thing is to flush the toilet and get the water to drain out of the tank. Now in my case, it don't work, so I have to take the lid off, manually lift the plunger, let all the water drain out, and then we can start removing the bowl from the tank. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook the water supply line from the tank. That way what little water's left in here hopefully will drain out, and it'll leave very little water in the tank itself to make a mess. Now in my case, this is kind of corroded on, so I'm going to use a crescent wrench to get it off. Now some of you might be lucky enough to have a valve here with a piece of pipe that goes from it and hooks to the toilet, in which case you can just replace that and be all set. But as you see, I have PEX, and they decided not to do that for me. So I'm hoping that this part here isn't bad and causing a leak, because if it is, I really don't know how I'm going to replace that. If any of you know how to do that, give me a comment down below and tell me how I can do that. So we got that removed, we got old water to come out. Now when you loosen these bolts off the tank, you need to try and do it somewhat evenly so that it doesn't cock one way or another and cause the toilet bowl, either the bowl or the tank itself, to get split or broken, because if it does, this is all over with and you gotta go buy a new toilet. In my case, it takes a 1/2 inch. So I'll get this off and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, we got the bolts off. Now we can lift the tank off. I'll make sure I get a towel under there to soak up any water, and I got a towel here to set it on, and then the next parts are all easy. So mine came with some little rubber bumpers, if you will, for it to sit on so you don't tighten it down too much and break stuff. So as you can see, I've had a water issue for a little while, evidenced by the peeling paint, which I'll fix at a later time. But for now, we're just going to concentrate on getting this toilet fixed. Okay, I'm going to put some gloves on just because, well, this is kind of nasty. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll take these anchor bolts out that attach the tank to the bowl, and they just push out. Then pull this gasket off. So next we'll remove this nut so we can pull out that flush valve, and then we'll remove this nut. It gets rid of the other valve. And to do that, I'll take a pipe wrench for this one. Remember, unless it's reverse threads, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So turn to the right, turn to the left. Now when I go to put these back on, I'll be a little more careful. But since I'm just taking these off and they're old and wore out, I don't care if they get tore up or not. Now we can turn the tank up. And in case you're wondering what this is a inline toilet bowl cleaner, if you will. It comes with little cartridges. You can get them in bleach that you put in here. And when you flush the toilet and it's refilling, it runs the water through here and puts the bleach in the tank. It doesn't put the bleach, or I should say, it puts the bleach into the bowl. It doesn't put any bleach here in the tank to tear this up. And we're going to replace that because it was leaking also. So that'll just come off. These just lift out. Unhook the chain, This is one of the reasons why it wasn't working. It was breaking. Same thing. Just take the plastic fitting. This one happens to be reverse threads because I'm going right, which should tighten it, but it's loosening it. Pull that out. Pull the bolts out. And now you've got an empty tank. So I'm gonna go wash this out and clean it up a little bit, and we'll put everything back together. Okay, I got the tank all cleaned out, and so here's what we've got. I just got this at Home Depot. It's an all-in-one kit. Costs like 20 bucks. Fluid Master, they got different ones. I basically just looked at the back of it, and it said it would fit the type of toilet bowl I have, and so I bought it. Now this comes with everything you need. It comes with the anchoring bolts to the bolt the tank to the bowl. It comes with your handle, comes with your valves, the chain, everything. The gasket down below. But this comes with a plastic flush handle. And so because of that cheap thing broke, I went and got a metal one. See if that'd last a little longer. And then this is that kit that was in here that cleans the toilet bowl. This I had to get off of Amazon. Home Depot doesn't carry them anymore. So I'll show you how we put this in and get it all put back together. So first let me open this up and get the parts all out, and then we'll put it together. Okay, here's all the parts that came in the kit. This is your flush valve, here's your fill valve, washers for it, plastic handle, the gasket and bolt for the bottom, and then your washers and nuts to put the tank back on. Now remember, I'm going to replace this with this all metal one. So what I'll do is I'll put this together as if we're not putting this on so you can see it, and then I'll just show you how easy this is to just slip on there. So first thing, it comes with instructions. Read those if nothing else. First thing we need to do is set the height of this pipe, because this is your overflow pipe. If it's too low, your toilet's not going to fill very far and the water's going to run over. If it's too high, it's going to risk leaking. They want it an inch below this hole right here. This is the hole that your handle goes in. They want it an inch below there. So what I'll need to do is get this put on and then put it on the tank and then measure where that is and see if it's at the right height or do I need to cut it. Okay, so I've already measured everything, but basically I just took a tape measure and measured down an inch below the bottom of this hole here and decided where it was on the tape measure, then just went inside here on the back, because this is going to sit towards the back like this, and marked a pencil line on the tank. I put this back on the bowl, put this in so that it was sitted down in there all the way, and then marked on this pipe where I need to cut it. So I got this marked off where it needs to be. They tell you can use a hacksaw, but I actually have a pipe cutter, so I'm going to do that so I get a nice straight cut, because whenever I cut with a hacksaw, it's never straight, so I want a good straight cut. You just tighten it, make a couple rounds, tighten it, make a couple more rounds. So there we go, nice and straight, level cut. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is insert that. So I'll lay the tank down, and they want the overflow valve towards the back of the tank. They don't want it covering any of these holes. So here's the nut that goes on it. This is the rubber gasket that goes over that to keep it from leaking. And before I tighten it down, I'll make sure it's in a good position. I will tighten it with my pipe wrench just a little bit. I don't want to over tighten. This washer or this rubber gasket fits over this like that and then fits into your tank. We can put this in, but it needs to be adjusted. This needs to be turned to where the top of this sits about an inch below the top. And basically they want the top of this to be about 3 inches above the top of this overflow valve. And I think for me, to get an inch below my handle meant that it's only 3 inches from the top. So I'm not gonna put it to where the top of this is right at the top of here. I'll put it just a little below that. So what I'm gonna do is put it in, kind of tighten it up, and then see where we're at and adjust. This also gets a gasket. Slides up. like that, and then this will be your nut that goes on. So I just got it cranked in some random position, and we'll see how that fits. And I'm not going to worry about getting this really, really tight. I'm just going to get it snug so it doesn't move. Like that. And let's see where we are here. And remember, my tube is about 3 inches from the top, which would mean this needs to come up a little more. When you do this, they don't want you to move this part. They want you to hold this steady and then just turn the bottom until you get it where you want it. That's just where I want it. Okay, so I'll finish tightening this up. Now it comes with 4 nuts, but one's thinner than the other. And what that's for is to put the bolt through and put the nut on here with a washer. And that's your spacing so that you don't tighten this down too tight. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Even though I've got those little rubber spacers that came with it, I'm still going to do this just as an added precaution. So what you do is you put one of these rubber gaskets on. Each bolt. Put that through the holes. Then you put the little metal washer over that. Tighten this down. Make sure you're using the skinny one versus the fatter one. I've got an extra set of these rubber washers. I think I'll put this on here and then the metal washer and see. It may have to come off. I don't know if that'll make it too thick or not, but we'll find out. It came with them, I might as well use them. Okay, they only want you to put these hand tight, but being me, I'm going to snug it just a hair so that these rubber washers kind of seat real good. Need a big flat-headed standard screwdriver. And that's all I'm going to do. Now I'll put my little rubber gaskets that came on the toilet on, and then we'll slip this on here and we'll tighten these bolts up. Good thing this tank's not very heavy. All right, now I'm going to check and see if the bolts, nope. Actually the gasket itself makes it sit up really high. I'm just getting it hand tight for now. So I'm going to tighten both sides at the same time. You don't want to over tighten, but you want to tighten it till it's snug and doesn't rock, and I would say that's pretty good. We're going to hook up the water supply line. So you've got this end here, which clips onto this. That's your fill line, that's what fills it. And this goes into where the water supply is, which is here, like that. Now, we can trim this and make it fit. It's not a big deal. And the only other thing is we'll put the new arm in. Now the issue is my tank curves instead of goes straight like that. And so this handle has to be bent to work. And the plastic ones, I don't like them. So I'll measure where I need to bend, and we'll bend this and then put it back in there. But as you see, it won't fit right. It needs to fit like that, but it won't because it needs to be bent. So I'll bend it about right there. That'll work perfect. And I just bent it by hand. Remember, this nut is a reverse thread, just like that. Now we just need to hook the chain up that's down in there. The chain has a little clip on it, which will hook to here. We want just a little slack in the chain, so that when we lift this up, all the way up, one, the lever doesn't touch the bottom of the tank, or the bottom of the lid, and two, it raises this up all the way for it to flush. But yet, when it comes down, it's got to be able to shut the flapper all the way. And this part here is really just trial and error. That's perfect. So this would be all done, but I'm going to show you how to hook up that inline cleaning cartridge here. Okay, kit comes with instructions, but basically it's all the same stuff. So it's got a little clip to hook on the back of the toilet. Here's your inflow, your fill valve, just like the other one that's on there. And then this fits to the intake or the water inlet valve. And then your cartridge just goes in here. Say this fits on the back of the tank. And put it clear over to here. That'll go in there. And then this goes in here. And I can adjust however much line that I need. Hook this up to here. That'll go there. Push that line down. Actually, I can move this over a little bit. A little cartridge that comes with it. Just goes in there and twists in. Like I say, the lid will sit over this, hold it down. That's all the way in, that's in. Now all I need to do is hook the water line up from behind, let it fill up and test it. I'm going to turn the water on and let it fill up. So far so good. We'll let it fill up to wherever it's going to, flush it once, and then see where it fills up again and adjust the water level if we need to. Okay, I've got everything adjusted. I got the water level adjusted. It doesn't matter how high I really have the water in here. The toilet bowl itself only fills so full. If anybody knows why that is, if it's the way it's manufactured, okay, great. If there's some adjustment I can do to make the bowl have more water in it, please let me know. Works like a charm. Well, there you have it. How easy was that? We fixed all of our problems with one simple solution, replacing all the tank parts. And do you hear that? That's right, no water running. So this is a nice, simple, easy rainy day project that you can do. Hope you enjoyed the video, learned something. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. And until next time, happy DIY.